Alright guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman Studio, and today we've got Jack in the chair. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, I'm very well. Thanks, mate. I'm very well. So, what are we doing? What's the plan?
Well, I think for me, it's I've sort of tried a lot of different hairstyles over the last few years.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm sort of pursuing acting,
Okay.
and I like to think I try and have like a versatile appearance for certain characters. I try and switch things up.
Okay.
But I think in reality, it's that I've not found a style that I'm happy with.
Yeah. I get that.
Something that I can manage myself, that's still smart, and also I've got headshots coming up.
Oh, okay. Well, when you said about you going to be you're an actor,
Yeah.
when you were saying then about versatility to show like different hairstyles to show versatility,
Yeah.
I was thinking then headshot.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what is your headshot? Because when I've worked with actors in the past, they've all had the kind of they know their look.
Yeah.
And then obviously they need a bit of length in the hair most of the time as well. If that's if they want looking for versatile roles, they can't go in with a shaved head.
No.
Doesn't make sense, right? No. So in terms of like your headshot, what would you like to who would you like to showcase yourself to be then? Like what look do you want to go for?
I think that's sort of like Timothee Chalamet type.
Okay.
Smart, but also there's a bit of an edge to it.
Okay. Which Timothee Chalamet are we going for? Because obviously you've got quite short hair.
Yeah, so there's a look where it's more of like a French crop, I think you call it, where it's sort of a little bit more forward. My hair at the minute tends to sort of grow up as opposed to forward.
Okay.
But in the past, I've managed to have like a more curly sort of fringe.
Have you got any photos?
I have, yeah. I've got one.
Let's have a little look.
Yeah, that's the sort of look that I was thinking.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, but there's a bit of sort of shaved on the side. And I was
That's from the King film, isn't it?
Yeah, the King one.
Right. Yeah. Can I get a couple more photos up of that, just so I can see? Right. Okay. So there's one from the sides.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think we're going to struggle
Okay.
because you haven't got that much length.
Right.
It looks short, but I think that's because of the shape.
Okay.
And I think the bits that you're drawing your attention to is like the shorter fringe,
Right.
the shape bits here. But in reality,
There's more volume.
look at the texture. There's more volume.
Yeah.
Have you noticed your hair's thin slightly as
Yeah.
well? Okay.
Yeah.
So to get that volume, we need length.
Right. Okay.
So that would kind of, we'd use products to create that sort of vision. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I love the look.
Yeah.
I wish you had more hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we could really create something really cool. Because I know that I've got products, I've got serums that we could really change the texture of your hair.
Okay.
Now, I still think we can.
Yeah.
I just feel like we have to be creative. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, I can't put it on.
No.
If I could, I wouldn't be here. I'm sorry, guys, but I wouldn't be here. If I could put hair on, I'd be gone. Yeah. That undercut is the thing that's bothering me the most.
Right. Okay.
Because we can't get an undercut if we haven't got enough hair.
Yeah.
And I think looking at that picture, see how much more blunt and short his fringes come in. So there's quite a lot of length in that. Now, when it comes to cutting a style like this, you've got to cut the style in from long.
Right.
Now, I think he's had his normal haircut, and they've cut that into that shape because you can't get them long strands of hair, without having length to start with and then cutting it down. Quite a technical haircut. I like it. I feel like you got the look for it. I just feel like we're a little bit premature.
Yeah. With that aim. Yeah.
So what I think we need to do is do something that's going to be slightly different and grow it into that. Now, have you ever thought of using treatments to thicken your hair and to?
I've started using Regain.
Okay.
Just because I'm trying to sort of catch it early on.
Yeah. Good show.
But I know there's obviously medication and stuff as well that you can look at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've watched the channel, I'd always recommend Manual. We've worked with them closely. I know the guys there. I've spoken to the guys there. I know their intentions, and I know they're a very good brand to work with. We only work with brands that we recommend anyway. So it could be worth looking into that. Obviously, go down the right channels. Do your consultation with them online.
Yeah.
Fill out all the necessary details, and just see if it's for you. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
In terms of the look, this style though, what I think we need to do is I feel like I need to wet your hair first to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like we just put a very low taper in to kind of start that off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To give what I would say is close to something as possible, because there's another angle of it.
Yeah.
Right. This is why Pinterest's so good.
Yeah.
Because you put one thing in and loads of different photos come up.
And things.
So that's more of like kind of a low undercut down the very bottom. Right. And I feel like we could probably grow it into something like that. That there is a good shot. Yeah. I think it's basically a bit modish, and it's just got the sides taken away and his hair texture. I think personally. Yeah. There's another one as well there. You see, there's the undercut quite prominent on that bit. Yeah. I just feel if we did an undercut now, it wouldn't look good. No. The reason it looks so good is this picture here. Is the reason why that undercut looks so good, because there's so much going on elsewhere with the haircut, you know what I mean? So I think, yeah, let's just put a taper in, right? Let's see what your hair texture is like.
Yeah.
I feel like we probably need to encourage your hair texture to slightly change, or to use products that's going to help to change that.
Yeah.
But again, if you did get on some medication, the difference would be unbelievable because he's got no hair loss.
No.
So we've got to be realistic with what we can achieve.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And I hate being that guy. I always feel like I'm a bearer of bad news sometimes, but I just need to be honest about it because I can't be saying, oh yeah, we'll do this, and then it looks like a Wish version of Timothee Chalamet. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. I want to do something that's going to look and suit you, work with your hair texture, but use him as a very loose bit of inspiration.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So people see you as you, not like, oh, you're copying Timothee Chalamet.
Yeah.
Get what I mean? So I think let's just do that. I think let's just put a low taper in. I'll do it quite far around the ear though as well. All right, to kind of give a bit of a similar finish to that.
Yeah.
And then let's just see what we can do at the top. Let's see what we can change. Maybe let's cut the fringe a bit shorter today or something. Maybe, I don't know. Let's just see what it looks like when it's wet, and we'll go from there. Yeah. But are you happy with that?
I'm very happy with that.
All right, cool, man. Right, well, let's get this shampoo and conditioned, and we'll get cracking, mate. Sweet. Yeah, well, I like your style, though, man.
Thank you.
I like your style. I like the idea of this. You know,
Yeah.
I do. I like the idea of this. I think it's just going to be a bit of a waiting game.
Yeah.
But I feel like we get there, though. You know what I mean? So, shampooed and conditioned Jack's hair, and now I just want to see the texture of it, right? So, obviously, before it's very frizzy, right? Which isn't going to help the look because obviously Timothy's hair is the opposite of that when it's styled, right? So I don't know what he's wearing in his hair, but he's probably got some sort of like cream on or something like that, right, to make that work. But as you can see, when it's wet, the texture is very different, right? Yeah. Now, I want to try and keep that same texture. Very hard in one go, though.
Yeah.
So it's going to be something that you have to work on, maybe a few treatments as well, get some treatment masks and things like that to put on your hair to really start to like just defrizz your hair. Because frizz generally is just either through hair loss, it can be through the way you towel dry your hair, it can be through the environment you're in, wearing hats a lot. You know, frizz can just happen, but it can just be wear and tear on the hair, right? That's what a lot of the time what it is, right? So it could just be a bit of that. Maybe with the hair loss as well, it could be contributing to that because it's getting finer. So it just gets drier and drier and drier and then becomes a lot more frizzy. So obviously, you know, if you are considering something like that would be great. Right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and maintain your hair to be this way, all right? So that's going to come in the form of a serum.
Right, okay.
Serums are incredible for frizz. They're incredible to add the strength back to the hair, to revive the hair, protects it against environmental damage, which is generally pollution and things like that. But we're trying to maintain the same sort of texture. Okay, so hopefully when it dries, you'll see what I mean. Okay, so with the serum in, that's going to be this is going to be like my cutting lotion, right? Should we say, right? I'm putting that in now. I want this to dry in the hair as we're cutting it as well. All right. So I'm going to start off just by cutting in that shorter fringe because I feel like if we do it now, it will help with the sort of shape that we're going to go for. Because I want to do a very round shape. Okay. Now, if we do that now and we grow it into something, then at least if you put the effort into like sort of like changing the texture or improving the texture of your hair, if we maintain a shape, then that way we don't have to grow it as long to get it. You know what I mean? So T-section on top, like so, and I'm gonna cut this fringe in. So I'm gonna do a bit of a shorter, sharper version of what we've been looking at. So what can I do? Now, do you know what's really good? Your level of hair loss is just thinned through the top. Yeah. But your hairline's so strong.
Right, okay.
It really is. Which is great. It's a great position to be in. It really is. Because if your hairline was starting to go, that is an extremely harder thing to try and regrow back, you know, not just the density of your hair. It is just the density of your hair.
Yeah, I think my older brother's sort of got the reverse going on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's sort of losing a bit of the hairline, but his top's quite strong.
Oh, okay.
It was always been a thing, really. I thought it was going to happen to one of us because I come from like 3 generations of brothers, and it had been that one of the brothers had lost their hair.
Oh, okay.
But it had always been the older brother, and I'm the younger brother, so I used to wind my brother up about it loads, and then obviously it was a start. It's one of them, but
it's nothing worse than when you think you got the edge.
Yeah.
And then smack, it kind of hits you as well, you know. But you know what though? It's to be honest, in terms of how common it is, you know, we were talking to one of the doctors at Manual, one of the clinicians, and 1 in 2 people now experience hair loss. Yeah. So you know, it's quite high. It really is. It's very, very high, and you know, you've unfortunately that's just the way it is, isn't it? I guess you know what I mean. And I think that is sort of one of the sort of the lights at the end of the tunnel, really, you know. And the results I've seen over the last sort of 15, 16 years of working with people who've used minoxidil and finasteride.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It really is. Absolutely ridiculous. And that's not just me saying that. That's genuine. Like I've seen some incredible transformations.
It's a proven thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is indeed.
I do feel like I've sort of caught it quite early on.
Yeah.
Which is good, if you agree.
If you've noticed it now and you've started some form of treatment, 100%, mate. Yeah. I don't. That's what they were saying. That's what a lot of the guys say though at Manual. They're like, the key to it is catching it soon. Mm-hmm. If you don't catch it soon enough, that's when it just begins hard. It's like prevention over cure, isn't it? Yeah. That's essentially what it is, you know. Right, so just 2 very small sections at the front, just to start cutting that fringe shorter. Because essentially, when we get more length in this, and hopefully if that texture improves, we can hopefully start to get that nice fuller finish through the top is what we need to go for. Now, if you can, stay away from heat.
Yeah.
Don't put any heat on.
Right.
Okay, try and stay away from it as much as you can. Now, while it's like this, I'm going to put the taper into it now, okay? And I'm going to do it. In fact, you know what? Yeah, I will. I'll do a very low taper because I don't want to take away the sides. We need to create an undercut at some point. I was thinking then of doing a very low one.
Right.
And blending it in. But I don't think we'll get the undercut quick enough. I feel like we need to grow the sides out to get the undercut. To get the undercut. So I feel like if we just do our back and sides and our taper, but you know, a fairly sort of aggressive taper, then you'll be able to get there a bit sooner. Yep. Okay. Work this to the ear, like so. Key to this, these bits here, them bits. Think about the picture. Right, in my head I can see that picture very clearly, right, what we're looking for. Now we need to have the fringe short, the side bits longer, and then obviously loads of long strands through the top. But these bits here not being short is the key, because that will show off the taper a bit more. So I'm going to work in patches on this one, right? So take this off the ear, like so. I'm going to do a very, very, very shallow blend, but I'm going to move that out the way because I want to try and keep that. I think that would add a bit more to this haircut than it just being like a sort of low taper. Into the neckline as well now. Put my 1.5 guard on. I'm gonna work this about here around. Then we need to keep a lot of length through the back as well. The whole haircut is very mod-esque. So what roles have you managed to play then in your acting career so far? Have you done anything like this sort of like period drama kind of stuff, or?
It's so I'm currently training
nice.
at an acting school in Kent, but at the minute I'm doing a Shakespeare, so it's.
Oh wow!
It is very.
This is very Shakespearean, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was in rehearsals this morning and sort of wanting to adjust my look slightly to fit the character.
I was thinking Robin Hood-esque as well.
I'm from Nottingham.
Oh, are you? Yeah. Oh, wow, there we go.
Yeah, not far from Shield Forest.
That's not at all, no. Yeah, I think this is going to really blend in quite well. I'm keeping the taper very shallow, so you see the aggressive, like, sort of scalp exposure with the dark sort of hair around it. So, again, we could do like a perfect, like, you know, 2024 taper, but the reality is that's not what we're trying to achieve, right? We're trying to achieve a bit of an undercut just with us having the length there, you know? So I want to add what you call a weight line. So the blend is done on a very shallow angle. As you can see, the comb and the teeth, you see it on the camera, are angled almost towards me. So you're getting a blend, but it's very shallow. If I was going to do a taper, you'd start up here and work down. I'm starting like bang on the line. And that's what gives that kind of almost undercut effect, but it's still got a connection in there.
You didn't realise like quite how scientific it is. Like it's.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. But I guess, you know, it's probably. I think the same can be said about your job sometimes, can't it? You know, everyone thinks you're just playing somebody, but there's so much more to acting, isn't there, you probably think. You know what I mean? It's,
there's a lot of prep that goes on with it, and
yeah, same in this job as well.
yeah,
It's it's a lot. You know, this job is a 2 to 3 year apprenticeship. You know, if you do it properly. You know what I mean, in a sense. So there's a lot to it, a lot to take in. But it's it's obviously, you know, it's not as varied probably as your job. You know what I mean? That's the big difference, I guess.
I was talking about being important for my headshots and sort of having something that was smart but also had a bit of edge to it.
Yeah.
I tend to be cast as villains a lot.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's sort of, if that's going to be my niche to corner when I properly enter the industry, like having a look that is achievable,
Definitely.
that sort of gives off that vibe still, would be good.
Well, I think if you look at a lot of villains,
Yeah.
like, I mean, they've always got, like, well, not all always, but a lot of them have got very short, kind of crazy haircuts, haven't they? You know what I mean? They've always got, like, really aggressive scalp exposure and things, haven't they? You know, I think of, like, I always loved the Punisher.
Yeah.
We've done a haircut on that. We've done the Punisher haircut years and years and years ago. It was, you know, I know he's an anti-hero, isn't he? In a sense, you know what I mean? But if you think about it, like, you know, again, he's got that very, it's almost like that, they've all got that military background. They've always, like, kind of been kicked out the military or whatever, you know. There's always them elements to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think it's not a bad haircut to go for, because it's, you know, it's got an aggressive bit, especially when you get to what you want to get to.
Yeah.
It'll be a completely different story. You know what I mean? But you've got that curl and that kind of like Romanesque sort of hair texture, you know. You were saying earlier about all the different hairstyles you've had.
Yeah.
Do you fancy telling me some of them that you've had?
Yeah, I've got photos if you want to see some photos.
Go on.
I've done basically everything I could possibly do, I think. So that was a sort of general look that I'd been having, a bit curlier. Then we've had a blonde moment, a bit longer on the back, almost like a mullet sort of thing. And then that's without the beard.
Oh, wow.
And the sort of curly.
See, that's the length we need.
Yeah, that is.
That's it, man.
I think this is when I was happiest with how it looks. So just a little bit more length and you get the sort of a...
Oh, yeah, nice little figure. Very similar to
and
the shaved head.
The shaved head and the bleached head.
Nice.
Sort of just it's me not settling on a look that I'm happy with.
Yeah, and I get that, man. I get that.
And now I'm sort of getting a little bit older and left my sort of teenage years behind. It's more important to me now to have a look that I can do myself, but also that I'm happy with.
Definitely. Yeah, it takes a bit of time to find the sort of look you try and go for. Though. It does take a bit of time. And I was the same, mate. I very similar in my late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
I had the dyed blonde hair and the mohawk and the faux hawk and the mullet. And, you know, it's basically like the styles you see coming in now, we were doing like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? In a sense, like the V cut at the back, the burst. What is now a burst fade was basically a V cut.
Right.
Back when I was like, you know, back in like the mid 2000s, just was never like that kind of aggressive fade. It was more like a 1 or a half or something like that, you know. So yeah, so it does come back around a little bit. You know what I mean, in terms of like trend and whatnot. But yeah, I think I settled on my look, which is kind of this. If you kind of look back at me for like the last 10 years, I've always kind of had this style.
Yeah.
I found an old YouTube video that I did for a product brand, and it was like a sort of like 2-minute video of me just styling my hair and showing them how to do it.
Yeah.
It was very dark, but it was the same look. It was the same cut, and that was 2013. So you know, it's basically this. I've had this haircut now for, apart from when I grew it out, and then when I shaved it off. Yeah. I've basically had this haircut the whole time. So. Yeah,
you sort of find that look that you're happy with.
Yeah, definitely. It's like your go-to, isn't it? You know, it's like your go-to look, isn't it? It's what you find most comfortable and what you feel suits you the most. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's always nice to get compliments, but yeah, realistically, it's about you, innit? You've got to please yourself, right? You know what I mean? Whatever you like, I find. Yeah, you've done a lot of different looks, man. Like, and the worst thing about it though is that they all take time, don't they, to get. Yeah. You know what I mean? So even though you maybe show like maybe 8 or 9 different looks, then that can be years and years and years, can't it? You know, it takes so long.
And it's funny in such an appearance-based industry.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, so when I had auditions to get into the acting school that I'm at now, I had a ponytail.
Oh wow.
because I thought, well, I'll present a slightly different look that maybe they've not got. Because at that point, they're just taking you off face value. Like, they don't really know who you are as people. It's more what you look like. Do you fit what they're looking for?
Is it really still like that? Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Wow.
And so I rocked up with the ponytail and the beard, looking like Jesus. And thankfully, I got in. And then when I started the term, I'd cut all my hair off, and it was sort of, they were a bit like, oh, who's this guy? I can't remember auditioning him, but it's
yeah. I bet it's still based on looks though. Like it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, they're trying to move away from it a bit more, and like I think the intention is there, but also they talk about building an ensemble within the year and a sort of diverse group of people. But it is funny because I look at my mates at the school, and for when we graduate next year, some of us look quite similar, and it will just be that we will be going for the same parts just based on how we look. But
hair's a big part of that though, man. Hair's a big part of that. Get your hair up to as best condition as it can be.
Yeah.
Work on that density if you're willing to have a little look at, you know, do a bit of research or go on.
Yeah.
Speak to manual. I honestly think that we would get this look.
Yeah.
Genuinely, because look how the serum's drying in.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving you that wave.
Yeah.
It's not giving you that frizz, you know? Right. Now, the reason I kept these bits here, because I want to start showcasing that this is going to be that kind of like Timothee Chalamet in that film, with the fringe being short.
Yeah.
By keeping that in there, it gives you a rounder finish, right? And it starts to frame the face. So I'm just doing little tweaks to this, but maintaining that length. So that way it gives that impression. Again, it's that sort of period that we've got to look at as well, though. It's got to be done. It looks so good on him because of his clothes as well. You know, everything about the haircut kind of goes. If he just had like a t-shirt on, it might not be as effective. So I want to give you something that's effective, but still works with you. You know what I mean? So by just keeping a little bit of softness through the temples there, we haven't done that kind of what you'd see everywhere else now with very sharp sides. That would ruin the whole look. Again, it just looked like a crop. So we're trying to keep that roundness in there. With that being said, through here, I might just take the crown a bit shorter. I might just do what I call a halo section, which is just basically a circle around the crown. And we just take this a little bit shorter, completely disconnected to everywhere else. And then that way we can start to grow this shape out and work this around. So I want this to start becoming longer on the sides, essentially. Let me just use the guide from the middle and run this through here. Like that. So essentially I'm trying to disconnect the crown from everywhere else. Trying to create the effect of a disconnection with connection into the hair. So by leaving length quite heavy through here onto the taper, and through the back here as well, you've got what is still classed as like, you can still see there's length in this. We'll start creating that rounder effect. I just want to put the taper in just so you can see that coming through there a little bit more as well. And then obviously on the neck as well, a bit like the way his is, it's very low. More than putting a low one and then having to blend that one in, because it would just look too steppy, more than like the undercut like that is. I just left more length through here and done a very shallow blend, just so it kind of starts to grow into something, all right? Just going to taper your neck a bit tighter though, because I feel like it looks a bit too long at the bottom, because where all the weight is. I'm just going to raise this up a touch. Just by doing a bit of a tighter taper. But again, I'm not making it look like a modern day taper. I'm still doing a very like sort of like stretched out taper where it just looks a lot more natural. I'm just raising the neckline up a touch. So this will sort of become a bit more like that haircut in a few months' time. You get what I mean? So if you could grow this right out for a good amount of time with this shape, it'd be so much easier to follow. All right? Now, I just want to start drying this with my fingers like this, right? Because you have got curly hair. Now he has got more of a wave in it, so I'm going to try and create the wave, okay? Keeping that heat far away, not to try and burn the hair. Looks thicker. Looks like you've got an actual shape. We're just going to pull these out now, okay? Just the product that we just put in. Just like that. If you turn to the side, that's when you start to see the shape coming in a bit more with that short fringe and the longer sides. That's essentially what we need to grow out. So that's why I left them bits in there. Just so it shows a bit of side length as well, more than it just being like longer, like on top. I want to show a little bit of definition within the haircut. So you can see, if you pull this forward, the taper looks more like an undercut because you've got length above it. That's why when you do a shallow blend here and you leave length up here, as you pull it forward, it looks like it's just been there. It's just like the short hairs appeared. Do you get what I mean? It doesn't look like your modern day sort of taper. So it just looks like that's appeared there because you've got length around it. It's a bit of an illusion, you know. But I feel like for now, that's probably what we're best doing for now. And just growing it into something. You know what I mean? Love to get you back on, you know.
I'd love to.
I really would. I feel like this would be a really, really good start to finish hairstyle. Give it a few months. We'll get you back in. And we'll see where we're going with it.
Absolutely.
Cool, man. Sweet. Awesome. Happy, yeah?
Great. Yeah, very happy.
Cool. Thank you very much, Jack.
Cheers.
Well, yeah, if you can stick to doing that, man, get a little treatments on there. That'd be great. And also, if you are interested, look into manual as well.
Cool.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Cheers.